Well, Vince, we're here today and we're going to look at something commonly known as the Yosemite Rig. And I have seen the Yosemite Rig used a lot in training and in real live rescues. I've seen people who are getting taught how to use the Yosemite Rig, but very few people know how to actually tie the Yosemite Rig. Are you going to show that for us today?
Yeah, we'll demonstrate how to correctly tie the Yosemite rig. It's really fairly simple procedure, but it's something most people tie and they leave pre-rigged so that it just saves time. Sort of like, you know, you don't have to hook the hoses to your Hearst tool or your Homatro or whatever kind of rescue tools. You keep stuff pre-rigged and it just speeds things up. So that's the typical configuration, but all we're going to need is basically 4 little short pieces of 8mm or cord that would be similar to what you normally tie a prusik sling out of.
Okay.
And a couple of body cords about 12 foot in length. I'm 6 foot tall, and you can see this is about head height, so it's about 12 foot in length.
Okay. Well, show me how we're going to do it.
Okay, we're going to start by finding the middle of the two 12-foot pieces of 1/2-inch kern mantle rope, and we're going to put them together, and we're going to treat them as if they were one, and then we're going to tie a figure 8, or basically a figure 8 on a bite, or in this case 2 bites side by side. And we're just going to come around and tie our figure 8 on a bite and cinch the system down. And this is going to give us our main attachment point, okay? This is our main attachment point that is normally going to rest about 3 feet or so above the patient's waist. And each one of these legs will be an attachment point that attaches to the basket.
Okay.
2 at the head and 2 at the feet,
All right.
okay?
So what's next?
The next step is going to be a little bit difficult to probably see, but we're going to take one of these prusik cords, and we're going to find the center of it. And I like to go ahead and just tie an overhand in this end right here, or a small overhand knot. This is going to be taken out in just a minute. This just keeps it easy to keep up with and makes it nice and neat. And what we're going to do once we do that, we're going to form a prusik knot around each one of these legs. And it needs to be a triple wrap prusik. And then once you tie this, of course, you're going to need to go ahead and dress it down. Once I've dressed the prusik knot down, I'm going to untie this little overhand knot I tied to keep the ends together. Now the next step is fairly simple as well. We're going to be working with the 2 legs right here as if they were one piece of rope. And we're going to be working with the other end of the 1/2-inch kern mantle. And at this point what we do, like we would with a double fisherman's knot, or some people refer to it as a barrel knot, we're going to attach these 2 ends together, okay, so that they will attach just like you were tying a couple of pieces of 1/2-inch rope together. There's the first half of the barrel knot, and the second half is going to be tied with these 2 legs of the 8mm cord, and they're going to tie around this main frame of the rope coming back up towards the original prusik knot. Once you tie this, you're going to take and you're going to pull on the 2 legs from the prusik knot through the barrel knot or the double fisherman, and you're going to pull on the orange leg, and you're going to cinch those 2 down together. And you want those angles of the rope to marry just like they do when we're tying a conventional double fisherman's knot. Once you've locked the double fisherman's knot into place, you've completed this leg of the Yosemite rig. The next thing to do would be to make your attachment. And the attachment's going to be made with a locking carabiner. We always like the gate to open to the inside and with the lock mechanism going downward. So we're going to attach it to the basket right here, and then we're going to screw the lock closed. And then if you would lift up on, you can see what we've got right here. And the nice thing about the Yosemite rig is this here would probably be down a little bit further, but this allows us to lengthen or shorten these legs as needed. This allows us to adjust for the feet to be elevated if our patient is in shock or for some reason he needs his feet elevated, or it allows us to lengthen the feet, which would in turn raise the head to a point right there. Of course, you're not going to allow the knot to pass through, so that's going to pretty much bottom out the amount of travel we have. But we've got about 14 inches of travel in elevation of the feet, and we'd have the same in the head.
So we just simply tie the same thing back here. We could adjust the basket in either direction or even sideways if we needed to.
That's correct. We can elevate the head or the feet, or we can go to the left side or the right side, depending on the medical necessity of the patient.
So Vince, we now have the finished product. We have tied all 4 legs of the Yosemite rig exactly the same way. We've got our 8 on a bite here, which our main carabiner, main line would be hooked into now. And again, most of the time, this is going to be left in a pre-rig state, isn't it?
Yeah, just for the simplicity of the operation and to save time, this is something that uses a little bit of unusual length pieces of rope, so it's not something you'd typically want to have to try and come up with on the rescue scene. So it's something we typically would tie and just leave pre-rigged.
Okay. Here you have the Yosemite rig.